Are you sitting on a retirement tax bomb that could explode and cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars? If you're between 60 and 70 with a solid K or IRA balance, there's a hidden threat to your retirement that almost nobody is talking about. The most powerful retirement planning strategy I've used over the last decade is about to become much more less effective, and you have a very narrow window to take advantage before it closes forever. Hey there, I'm Danny Gudorf, a financial planner who specializes in helping people over 50 retire with confidence. And what I'm about to share could save you more money than any other financial decision you make in your lifetime. We've arrived at a crossroads unlike anything we've seen in American history. Two massive forces are colliding to create both a crisis and an opportunity. On one side, we have the United States federal deficit spiraling completely out of control. Researchers at Wharton have made it crystal clear that the escalating debt problem has put us on a path for financial devastation. The world's entire financial system literally rests on the shoulders of the United States, and the numbers are not good. Here's what most people don't understand about our debt crisis. Wharton has identified only two ways to fix this massive problem. Option one is cutting about $2 trillion out of the federal budget. Option two, and I'm quoting directly from their research, requires an immediate and permanent increase of 33% on all federal taxes. Let me be clear with you. Cutting $2 trillion from the federal budget is simply not going to happen. The only realistic path to tackling this debt crisis is through increased tax revenue, which means much higher taxes for everyone. Now, if you have $1 million or more in your 4K or IRA, you need to understand something that's critical. Most retirees correctly assume that when lawmakers want to increase his taxes, they're going to go after people in the higher tax brackets. But here's what problem you don't realize. If you have a large retirement account, you're going to be one of those people in the higher brackets, and you usually don't figure this out until it's too late. Retirees with substantial 401k or IRA balances typically find themselves in the 25, 28, or even 32% tax bracket during retirement. This mainly happens because of required minimum distributions that force you to draw money from your retirement accounts, whether you need it or not. When I explain this to clients that we could see a 33% tax increase, many people think that that sounds impossible. But we were already there just 45 years ago. Effective tax rates in the United States were about 33% higher in the early 1980s. Compare us to other developed nations, and you'll see we actually have one of the lowest tax burdens of any developed country. Canada, the UK, and Australia, and the Netherlands, as well as many parts of Europe, have much higher taxes than we do. So a 33% increase would simply bring us in line with what other countries already pay. The second force that's creating this unique situation is our current political environment. The administration campaigned heavily on keeping taxes low, and they've proven that when they commit to this idea, they're going to follow through on it. I don't see any scenario, given the makeup of Congress, where they don't extend our current historically low tax rates. This creates a very specific and limited window of opportunity that we've never seen before. Let me show you exactly what this means for your retirement planning. We're currently enjoying one of the lowest tax rates in American history because of the legislation that went into effect in 2016. You can see that tax rates have been gradually declining over the past 45 years. When tax rates were much higher in the 1980s, our debt to GDP ratio was only 33%. That was manageable. Today, that ratio has explored to dangerous levels and is projected to reach 135% of GDP. Here's the critical point, though. These low tax rates are scheduled to expire at the end of 2025 and would revert back to the 2017 levels. However, the current administration is going to extend these low rates for at least another 2 or 4 years. But here's what's going to happen next. The debt crisis trumps any political agenda. No matter who is in office, this debt problem has to be addressed. And that means significant higher taxes are coming. Whether that's 4 or 5 years from now or 10 years from now, we know that at some point they're coming. This creates an incredibly narrow window of opportunity. We may have maybe 3 or 4 years while the tax rates remain at these historically low levels before they shoot up dramatically. Most financial planning software doesn't account for this reality. The software assumes gradual tax increases, but that's not what's going to happen. We're going to be looking at potentially a sharp spike in tax rates once this window closes. Let me give you a real example of what this means. Take a couple who just turned 62 and plan to work until 65. They've done a great job of saving and have about $1.5 million in their 401k and IRA accounts. Remember, none of this money has ever been taxed, but by the time they pass away, they'll likely leave about $1.5 million to their children, and that money will still have never been taxed. If this couple does nothing and never does a Roth conversion, they'll pay about $1.6 million of federal taxes over their entire lifetime. That includes both what they pay and what their children will pay on inherited IRA accounts. If they wait until retirement to start Roth conversions, they'll pay about $694,000 in taxes, saving roughly $834,000 in taxes compared to doing nothing. But here is where it gets really interesting. If they started Roth conversions now, even while they're still working, and take advantage of this narrow window of low tax rates, the savings become enormous. Under current tax rates, starting conversions now saves them about $1.1 million compared to doing nothing. But if the tax rates increase by 33% as projected, in conversions during this window saves them about $1.5 million. That's a $400,000 difference between starting conversions now versus waiting until after tax rates increase. Even if I'm completely wrong about tax rate increases and how things are going to play out, this family still saves over $1 million by doing conversions during this window. But if I'm right about what's coming, they'll save an additional $400,000 in taxes by acting now instead of waiting. Is compelling regardless of what happens with tax policy. In the worst case scenario, where taxes don't increase at all, Roth conversions for this family during this window save about $1.1 million. Here's what makes the situation unique. I've been doing retirement planning for over 15 years, and I've seen taxes go up and taxes go down, but I've never seen the United States in a situation like we're in today. The combination of massive debt and temporary low tax rates creates a perfect storm of opportunity that won't last long. The window for taking advantage of these low rates is probably 3 or 4 years at most. This opportunity generally works best for people around age 60 and continues until you start taking Social Security and then up until RMD age. If you're still working or have substantial retirement account balances, you need to seriously consider starting conversions now rather than waiting until retirement. Most people think they should wait until they retire to do Roth conversions because their income will be lower. But that conventional wisdom doesn't account for what's happening with potentially tax rates. Starting conversions now while you're still working, even at higher current income levels, can sometimes save hundreds of thousands of dollars if tax rates are going up. The key, though, is to understand that this isn't actually just about 1 year of taxes. This is about your entire retirement tax planning strategy. Every dollar you convert in lower tax rates during this window is a dollar that will never be taxed again, no matter how high tax rates go in the future. Your converted Roth money grows tax-free forever, and your heirs will inherit it tax-free as well. Remember, the debt crisis isn't going away, and political agendas change, but mathematically, realities do not. The United States has to address the debt problem, and the only realistic solution is to raise taxes. That means higher tax rates for everyone, especially people with substantial retirement accounts. The window of opportunity is real, but it's limited and closing. Whether you believe tax rates will increase dramatically or stay relatively stable, the math strongly favors taking action during this period. The difference between acting now and waiting could literally be hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it's important to remember that even though there is really good opportunity right now, Roth conversions do not make sense for everyone. You have to develop a tax plan that is going to be what's best for your family's specific situation. And if you're older than those individuals in that 60 to 70-year-old window, check out my next video, which is, should you do a Roth conversion in your 70s? This goes through 3 main things that you should be thinking about if you're over 70 and considering Roth conversion.